Today we're going to talk about how we're going to break the code of the psychopath. And this isn't easy because the psychopath hides behind a facade. And it's in fact, this is the facade we have to look through and see through. It's often a cool facade, a smooth facade, a smiley facade. It may well be a facade that's presented on the media, and the media is much more two-dimensional, not even three-dimensional, it's two-dimensional. So it may be quite easy to present a facade on the media. The actual business the person's involved in, if they are involved in a business, can be a facade as well. They may hide behind the facade of good works, altruism. They may hide behind the facade of a title honoured by a dear authority figure. So, and of course this fulfills their sense of entitlement and amplifies their sense of entitlement as well. So how do we see beyond this? Because each one of us has been fooled by these facades. Each one of us has been drawn in and seduced by this image, this attractive image that seems to tick all the boxes. How do we see beyond it? And how do we warn other people to see beyond it? Particularly when we discover it, the majority won't have got to that level yet. It's almost like we're trying to protect others. If we're in a relationship where you find this out about somebody who's close to you, a partner or a spouse even, you become aware of it before everybody else. And everybody else may well feel that person is wonderful. And if you do split, the good partners that I've talked to in confidence here are actually wanting to warn the next partners of this, because although they're hurt and damaged, these are the partners, the people who have been prey to these predators, they're still good people. They haven't damaged their souls, yay, so that's good. So how are we going to see through this facade? Well, one of the ways I think is to somehow record them. You can record them in your own mind, you can record them on your phone, and you may have to be careful about that. But do remember that you are the good one in this. You are the honest one. And their tactics are very difficult to counteract at the time. At the time you feel hypnotized. You feel that they are entitled to say what they are saying about you. If you record them and go, or either physically or go back in your mind, you will be able to realize in your own power, in your own time, how you've been duped, and you can do something about it in future. So there are certain things that you can do once you've recorded them. You analyze what they are saying without the hurt that's happening at the time and the feeling of inadequacy. You can do it in the cold, when you are relaxed and receptive. And so we analyze what are in fact put-downs, that are in fact they're gaslighting techniques. Just an example of that is if you are brave enough to accuse them of something, they may well say, "Do you really think that I would do that?" Or "What a strange thing to say." So what they're saying at the time is they're not answering the question at all, but quickly gaslighting it, turning it over to the fact that you are the one who has made the mistake. You're the one who is dim enough to think that this has happened. Do you really think I would do that? In other words, you become the problem and they become the victim. The other thing they do is quick to blame others. So if you do question them about something, then they will turn round and blame everybody else, and they will not care who they blame. The surprising thing is that they'll blame people who you think are close to them, who you think are their friends, or think are their family. They blame their own grandmother, their own son or their daughter, rather than themselves. And they'll do it in such a way that they won't have a conscience, because they don't have a conscience. They sometimes use, if you do confront them with a very reasonable argument, they may reply by saying, I don't know what you mean by that. But not that, hey, you know, please explain this. It's an end statement. I once complained I was the subject of an AdHominem attack. For those few of you who don't know that, that means that you're attacking the person and not the argument. To which the person says, I don't know what an ad hominem means. But in a way that I don't need to know, because I'm entitled not to know. It's not like, could you explain what that means? Like 90% of people, humble people, would say, well, look, I'm not quite sure what that means. I'm not quite sure of Latin. No, it's like, I don't need to answer that because I haven't been given that information. If they do say something black that says that black is white and white is black, saying, you weren't at work yesterday, or you weren't at this place yesterday, or you do this and you do that, when you know it's in fact completely wrong, and you say, no, I was at work yesterday, or I was at this place yesterday, they'll quickly say, don't interrupt, okay? You're not listening to me. So they will counteract a lie with an aggressive statement, making you feel inadequate. The fact that you've come in very quickly to point out that they're talking rubbish doesn't affect them at all. They'll come back and they will aggressively insult you and make you feel awful. Not only will they say, don't interrupt, but, you know, I find you're always interrupting. This is where, because if you do try to point out that they're lying all the time, they'll go back to you that not only are you interrupting now, and that means you're very rude, it also means you're always rude and interrupting. Okay. Also, the mirroring that the psychopath does. They may want to get you angry because over the years they've learnt techniques, they learn to feign their emotions. Therefore, not only do they like to see you angry, because they like to see you suffer and out of control, but they're learning these techniques. Having said that, if you do touch on anything personal about them, they are very quick to anger. But you can criticise their business and the people close to them, as I've said. And strangely enough, they don't leap to their defence. It's only to their own defence. It's the only person they're really interested in. So I hope that's been helpful. The recording ran out a few minutes ago, so I've sort of come back, and I hope it's not too disjointed. So I think we can do it. I think that we can start deciphering the psychopath's code. It does need us to stand back from when we're been under attack, join together, have discussion groups. I believe this is probably what's happening around the world now, as people can see through the lies of psychopathic leaders and narcissistic leaders, and they go away and they reflect rather than react. It's a sign of a mature consciousness that can do that. And so there is, as ever, hope. And just like charity begins at home, then analysis and breaking the code begins with our own personal experiences. And this is, for me, and I think for most of you, a very personal journey of discovery, oddly catalysed by these people who have been proved so dangerous to us, our society and our world. But I'm confident that we can do it with your feedback and your wisdom, and thank you very much for those who have taken the time to both respond to me, correct me, and guide me. That's very kind. So please subscribe and try and share this around, because this isn't just my gig, this is a gig for all of you as we learn together. So thank you as ever, and have a wonderful week. Thank you. Bye-bye.